Hello, everyone that is watching. Welcome to this show. Awesome. So, we're now live on Instagram as well. Thank you very much. Right. Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to be discussing how to handle accounting matters for your business. And this show will be very important for entrepreneurs, business owners, people who are, working on their businesses. And of course, to discuss this topic, I've brought here a very wonderful expert to have that conversation with us. She's an accountant and she also she's a founding member of an accounting firm. I'll ask her to introduce herself. Over to you, Sumera.
Oh, thank you so much, Linda, and welcome everybody who is joining us live. Good afternoon to everybody. My name is Sumera Mughal, and I am the partner assurance at Exit Alliance CPA LP. We are a full service CPA firm. And when I say full service, it means we deal with matters starting from the accounting, taxation, to the complex matters like audit, assurance, like review. We do the compilation. We help the clients with doing the valuation exercise, the mergers and acquisitions. We are proudly 100% Canadian owned business, and we are registered as a firm to do the audits and provide the assurance services to the listed clients in Canada as well as US. So over to you, Linda.
Okay, that's good, and I can see that you offer a lot of services. And what I would like to do is, to go a bit deeper so that anybody that is watching us right now, especially for entrepreneurs, they can get an idea of um that service. So, for example, for entrepreneurs specifically, what are the services that you offer that relates to entrepreneurs?
So, starting from the day when you think you have a business idea in your mind and you want to say, okay, I'm going to dive in the business. So, we can come and help you out putting up your business plan and, putting up the realistic expectation of the forecast as to how your business is going to run. We can help you with, how to identify what your costs are going to be, help you with the budgeting. We also help the companies to do the incorporation. So, we provide the incorporation services. If you are doing federal incorporation, if you're doing provincial incorporations, then again, helping you sorting out what has to be your licenses, which you need to before you actually go and enter in the market, getting your liabilities and insurance sorted out. So we can help you starting from the beginning. Once you actually land in the business and start swinging the real dollars, we can help you with your taxation services. And let's say you grow and then you need the funding and the finances from the banks. We can help you connect with the right banks to help you with the financing, and then the audit, the assurance, and tomorrow if you want to have an exit strategy and looking for a buyer, we can help you out with that as well.
Mm. That's great. Do you do this? Like for example, sometimes when people are putting up a business plan for a big business, they are also looking at, for example, financial forecasting. Do you do something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we this is financial forecasting is one of the things that we do for our clients. We also provide the forecasted financial statements. Sometimes banks need it to see if it's your newer business and if they are giving you the funding, they ask for the forecasted financial statements. This is again one line of the service that we do for our clients. So absolutely, we can help with that.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. Okay, what kind of businesses do you work with right now?
So see, when we actually started working in, and when we were also struggling and putting our feet on the ground, we were focusing most to welcoming any and everybody who comes to and take our service. And then slowly and gradually, we realized that to just give the best of our abilities to the client, we focus mainly on the medium-sized businesses
Okay.
who has crossed the stage of level one. They have entered in the market, and now they are settling down. They need their services either to grow and to go to second or third level. We help them out. That being said, it doesn't mean that we will not help the new entrepreneurs. Like I have businesses and even the not-for-profit organization who are working for certain causes. We do really help them out, putting together the structure, what should be the policies and procedures, so they can have be on their feet, up and running, and they can serve the community as well.
Mm.
So this is again one side of the business we look into. But our portfolio is the small and the medium sized clients, and we do not look for the big fishes, which is we are looking for this medium part where we are serving those type of clients.
Yeah, I see. That's good. Um, the question I had for you, you've already answered it, which is like why you are focusing on the kind of people you are focusing on. I saw that your business did some community work with CRA
Yeah.
recently. Can you tell
Yeah.
us what that was about?
So, see, I believe that it has to be a cycle, right? When you are getting something from the community, and if you are competent enough, and if you're blessed enough, then you should give it back to the community as well. Because if everybody grows, that's how the economy is going to grow and boost businesses for all of us. So our idea is to support the community in a way that like we work with CRA and provide the free clinic, the text clinics to the people who are like coming from the low income families, who have do not have the capacity to pay the tax fees. We help them out. We also help certain community organizations. For example, somebody comes in looking for the audit services from us, and our audit prices are of course going to be starting at certain benchmark. But if I can see it's a community organization working for a cause, helping the community, giving it back to the community, and they are unable to afford this kind of service. So I'll try my level best to bring down our profits, giving it on the cost basis and serving that client, because I know it's helping the cause, right? And I can be part of that cause by giving my service. Sometimes we also offer like free advices to people who, if we can, like helping them out in their taxation matters, or helping them out if they're in their sorting their books out. So something which we can give without undertaking any extra liability, we give them for free as well. So this is like our small portion to giving it back to the community.
Yeah, that's really amazing because as a business, being there to also help people, especially if they need it, just like what you're saying, is also something that helps the community. So why not? Uh, Thank you very much for doing that. I was really impressed when I saw
Thank you.
that you participated in that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so to go further, let me just give an idea of to the people that are watching us right now that so some of the things we are going to talk about today include common mistakes, or I would say things that entrepreneurs should stop doing when it comes to accounting matters. And then we're going to talk about common omissions. So common omissions and common mistakes, which is more like what to stop doing and what to start doing, something like that. Then we're going to also talk more about, what we should look out for when trying to hire an accounting firm. Some of the things that an ordinary person who is not an accountant may not be aware of. You know, these are some of the things we'll be learning from Sumera today. So thank you very much for agreeing to come in. All right. Okay. Then at the end, because I know some people are going to have questions. So towards the end, if you have a question, we are going to give you the opportunity to ask those questions, and I'll pick from some of those questions and ask her. So if you're watching, watch to the end. You have the opportunity for your question to be answered. Okay. All right. So let's dive in, starting with common omissions or things that you maybe in the line of practice you've noticed that, especially for smaller businesses, right? Like you've noticed that these are things that sometimes you find out that they are missing, or the person didn't know, that the business owner didn't know that they should be doing this thing. So what are those common omissions that
So I
you
would
want us to
say,
start doing?
yeah, absolutely. So, see, there is one common thing I see in all entrepreneurs who come to us, like, is they do not plan and they dive into the business. And their idea is that we will go in the market, we will see if we can find our potential customer, we'll start serving our customers, right? And we'll see, like, all the other matters will fall in place when we see the real dollars coming in, we'll sort our house out. And trust me, once you start diving into the business, you get so busy that you never have time to sort out your house. The housekeeping is never done. And it's only at the time when you land in a problem is you realize that you should have done this before. And it costs you not only time and money, but also the reputation. For instance, I have a client who, for example, they would want to dive into the business, start billing their client right away. The year has elapsed. They keep billing the client in their personal name. They didn't want went through the incorporation and everything. Year end comes in, and oh, they realize their sales have gone more than $30,000. They should have charged HST from their client. Now, because the charging has already been done, they are already at the year end. Now we have to sort the taxes out. And that's the time we realize, oh, they didn't get the HST registration sorted. Okay. Or let's say they come at the tax year end and they said, we want to do tax planning now. And I always tell them that tax planning is something that is done at the beginning of the year, because you do your actions and during the year based on what is the planning that you've done in the beginning. Now the year has elapsed, things have done. We cannot go and do undo things that has already happened. Again, you have to make a decision. So it's like this is one of the part of the I have seen people, they do not prepare themselves in advance, not only in terms of financial planning, but also in terms of the legal side. For instance, you are entering into a business, you start serving a client, you end up in a problem. And rather than actually earning up money, it's not only a reputational issue, the client file a lawsuit against you, and now you are in trouble, and your personal assets are coming in trouble as well. The question is, have you sorted your liability insurance before you actually entering into the business? Or you try to keep your business separate from your personal, so that if God forbid something happened to your business side, at least your personal side is protected. So these are the items I have seen people do not sort it out before they're actually entering into the business. Yeah, it's good to have clients. It's amazing to have clients. And I do understand at the beginning there are financial challenges and you not always have the budget to allocate in these kinds of items. But that being said, you have to be mindful that if you end up in a problem because of lacking these items, this is going to be a big blow to you. So this is one of the common mistakes I have seen people doing this. Another is, I would say, the exit strategy, because it's, see, business people, only those people can do the business who have passion to do business, right? It's your passion, you love it, and you see the success. But you have to make sure that whatever you see as a success has a commercial viability or not, because at the end of the day, you are in the business, in the game, to earn some money and earn some profits. And what happened is you dive into it and you dive so deep that you forgot that if this is not working, what's your next way out? And you keep doing it, doing it, doing it, and you do not realize that when was your stop loss point? At what point you should exit, go back on the back seat, see either you need another set of resources, either you need to slow down, either you need to stop by. I have seen my clients getting in trouble, getting in debts. Like I have seen their houses being sold just because they deep dive so much and they have not decided the exit strategy before entering in. So I would say exit strategy is the first thing you do before you're entering in the business. That okay, if I reach up to a certain point, it can be number of months. It can be your financial point that okay, after I've invested up to this point, I have to exit, or after these many clients, I have to look into. So this is something you have to plan in advance, and that includes how much budget you have in place. Another thing I have noticed people not doing it is they say we'll work for free. And it's absolutely fine. All the business owners work for free for a while in the business until their business gets established. Your service is free. That's perfectly okay. But how about the bills that are there on your back end? Your rent is accruing. If it's your market, it's accruing. If it's your grocery bill, it's accruing. If you have kids whose school bills are accruing. The question is, have you made up a plan of how these things are going to be financed? Did you set aside a budget? Do you have a backup plan? Do you have somebody to look forward to if, God forbid, something happens which you have not foreseen? So, do you have a backup plan? Like, do you have a spouse who will look after this? Do you have a parents who will look after this? And it's not only the moral reliance, you also have to make sure that the people you're relying upon, do they have the financial capability to help you out? Okay. And I think that the last thing I would say is making sure you have the right set of mentors with you. Sometime you might be technically super best, you might be amazing in your field, but what will happen is you landed in and you realize, oh my god, I need the marketing to be done, and now I'm struggling how to do the marketing of my business. So if you have a right mentor to help you with the marketing, if you have the right people to support you, even sometimes you just need moral support, you have a meltdown and you need somebody to just like have a shoulder to cry on. Sometimes you need a reality check. You are in your own cuckoo land and you want somebody to give you a reality check. So these are the items you should have a certain set of mentors available to you, where whom you can look forward to if there is any situation that comes to your attention which is beyond your control. So I think these are the common omissions I see in the businesses.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, you have listed a lot because even some of them have like children under them that you've added, and this is wonderful. And I wanted you to finish also without interrupting you, but I have questions for some
No
of the things
problem.
you've mentioned, right? So, for example, when you talked about one of the omissions is no planning, right? And then under that no planning, um you talk about HST, tax planning and incorporation. So let me start with HST. HST is like um what's the full meaning of HST?
It's harmonized sales tax.
Yes, harmonized sales tax. So yeah, exactly. So that sales tax is what I wanted to say. So tax that government, whether it's provincial government, state government, that they tax, they tax on on the product that was sold, right?
Right,
And
right.
is the responsibility of the business owner to charge those and remit it to the government. So
Yeah,
if that is not charged at the end of the day, when the government asks you to remit it, it may end up coming out from your pocket. That's what you're
yeah,
saying if the
yeah,
person has
yeah,
not planned. Yeah.
yeah,
Are there some nuances, like for example, using Canada as an example, right? Where
yeah.
it is called HST, because I know it's called different things in
Sales
different
tax and
countries.
VAT somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So using Canada, for example, like is there a certain amount, certain sales or revenue stage that a business needs to reach for them to charge HST, or like what are the requirements like, or you charge HST from day one?
So basically, HST is a voluntary registration if you are at the beginning of the business, right? So if you anticipate that the nature of your business is such that your revenue for a year is going to be less than $30,000, you're not obliged to charge HST. So what happened if it's a small business and you are not charging HST, and let's say you are giving a service to somebody who is also not going to charge HST or collect HST from CRA. For instance, you are giving this service to an individual. Let's say somebody's a cleaner, right? And they provide cleaning services. Now, if I'm going to hire a cleaner for my home, I am not going to recover that HST back from the government, right? So if somebody is not charging me HST, their service is cheaper from me as opposed to somebody who's charging HST, who is a company, right? So when I will hire somebody as an individual who has no HST, it's going to be cheaper for me. Therefore, like CRA helps those small businesses that if they are like working on a small scale, if your revenue is less than $30,000, there's no need to register yourself for sales taxes and do the filing. However, if let's say at the beginning of the year you decide that you are not going to be earning more than 30,000 a year, but let's say 6 7 months down the line you reach the threshold and you realize you're now going to be more than 30,000, you're already on 29,000 dollars. CRA tells you that no problem. Starting from that day when you reach that threshold, you come, you register yourself, and from that day on, you do the registration and you start charging your client. But let's say you are not aware as a business owner about this and you continue doing your business and you reach at the year end and now you are already at an income of, let's say, $60,000 and now it's a struggle for you. So therefore, I always suggest the entrepreneurs that, when you are in the business, always assume that you do not know anything. And it's good to just pick up a call, ask this question from your accountant that, this is what I anticipate. Now there is a change in the situation. Is there something I should be aware of? And if there's something that needs to be done, because as I said, things can be done while they are in process. If the year end comes in, accounts have been closed, there's only a little margin of you to do the things. So that's what I will always suggest the entrepreneurs to have a call, have a chat with your tax accountant and see.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So the figure I heard from you there is $30,000 as
Yeah,
the
yeah,
threshold.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. And you brought out the point that if the year is still ongoing and you hit that threshold, then you can still register. But leaving it to the end of the year and you've passed the threshold, then it can become a problem.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I see. Then the one of the things you also mentioned is tax planning and hitting the point that people should tax planning happen at the beginning of the year, not at the
Yeah,
end of the year.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Why is that so?
So see, so tax planning has two aspects. One is your corporation side, and one is your personal side, right? So in Canada, for instance, your corporation taxes are done under your corporation. So your corporation is taxed at a certain rate, depending as to what classification you have. Normally, small business are, if they are Canadian owns, they are classified as CCPC, and they are charged at lower tax rate. Once your profits are taxed in your corporation, now you have the option to take out that profit from your business and bring it to your personal taxes. Now, there are two ways of bringing it to your personal taxes. Either you take it as a dividend or you take it as a salary. When you take it as a dividend, normally it does not attract any deductions. You can decide it at any point during the year that whatever dividend you want to take. There's a deadline requirement from CRA on the February of next year. So, assuming if your year end was December 31st, 2024, you have until February 28th, 2025 to finalize your dividend number and inform CRA through a T slip. We call it T5.
Mm.
And I don't want to use too many jargons so that, assuming that people do not know those terms, but you just have to intimate CRA or the tax authority that this is the dividend we are taking out from our business. um, or if you decide to take a salary, normally salaries comes with two types of deductions again in CRA in Canada. One is the CPP, which is again the pension corporate the Canada Pension Fund. You make a deduction for that, and then there's an EI, which is for the employment insurance. If you're a business owner, you are not eligible for the EI deduction, but you still have to pay CPP. Again, there are certain thresholds that up to certain after certain salary, the CPP locks below certain salary that you don't need to pay CPP. The idea is that if you are doing your personal tax planning, now your personal tax planning depends as to if you have a family, if you have a spouse, what's his earning, okay, how much salary is he earning. The corporation gives you a benefit of decide the timing of taking out the profits from your business. So assuming in initial year your spouse is earning so well and you're already on a higher tax bracket, so you can leave those profits inside the business and take it out later at the years. Or let's say if your spouse is struggling or was not on a job, it's the best opportunity for you to take out the majority of the profits. And now, when you are taking out those profits, you have to pay the deductions to CRA. You have to intimate like every month, if you are taking a salary, after 15th of every month, like, so if it's a February salary, by 15th of March, you have to submit the deductions to CRA. So these are the things, if you will not submit it on time, you have to pay penalties and interest on that. Then again, like, again, what's your personal plan? Are you planning to take a mortgage on your going forward? Do you need to have a certain income that has to be there in your T1 to support the mortgage? So big, because the corporation gives you the flexibility of bringing the income in your personal tax return, it is important that you decide it at the beginning of the year. And assuming the end of the year come in, everybody is busy, the accountants are busy, you are coming in, oh, what salary should I take, what should I do, what should I do that. Nobody's going to give you time at that point in time. So it's always advisable that you decide it at the beginning, then slowly and gradually you take that money out of the business. Sometimes what happens with our client is they have taken money out of the business because they need the money, and at the year end we decide that we do not want to take out the dividends and the salaries, and now they are owing this money to the corporation. And CRA has certain regulations around that if you are owing the money to the corporation, you have certain timelines to give that money to the corporation. Otherwise, it's going to be charged as your deemed income. So you have to be mindful of these things. Therefore, it's very critical to do all this planning at the beginning of the year. As the year progresses, if the situation or circumstances change, discuss this with your tax advisor before the tax year hits in, and then you can plan it accordingly.
Thank you very much. Very, very important because the consequences of not following these things is that then the person has to pay more, and the liability depends on the amount that is in question, right? So
Absolutely.
that's great. Okay. Then you talked about some of the amazing points you raised here, which is the idea of maybe somebody that is starting a new business, having stop loss or exit strategies so that they don't end up in so much debt uh, that they may not even be able to pay back. Because I noticed that some business loans may require like personal guarantee on them. So even though
Absolutely.
it's taken in the business name, it's like if the business fails, it's the individual who self guaranteed it that is going to pay the bills. So these are things for people to be aware of as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So let's look at common mistakes. It's still like it's like once this second side of the coin, right? But
Yeah,
this one
yeah,
now is more of um instead of
right.
commission, right? Like what is it that somebody's doing that they have to stop doing?
See, if I have to go back 10 years ago and ask, tell my younger self the mistakes that I have made, and I would not want anybody else to make those kind of mistake, is you need to cultivate emotional intelligence in you, but you don't need to be too emotional when you're dealing with a business. This is very critical because as an entrepreneur, you are passionate about your business. You're living in day in and day out. And now what happens is you're dealing with a certain type of clientele or you are dealing with certain type of products and you come up with a difficult client to manage. Okay. And you and the client and it's very natural that when the client they do not receive a certain type of services, either because their expectations are unrealistic or their pricing is unrealistic or the understanding was different, and they end up being upset with you. Okay, and they get emotional, and now they start saying things that are not professional, not appropriate, and you get upset and you get with the flow, and then you get emotional and you get personal with it. I would always say that yes, the passion is there. No matter what kind of clientele you deal with, you have to make sure that you are firm and professional. You have to be professional even if somebody, and I give a very common example in that case. Have you seen how the call center people are? No matter how much you shout, how much you say, and they will say, yes sir, sorry for the inconvenience, but I apologize for the inconvenience, but because this is how they are trained. So as a business entrepreneur also, it's okay to lose a client, it's okay to lose certain type of business, but it's not okay to lose your reputation for that. If you cannot go and control the market, you cannot go control the customers, you cannot go control the clients. What you can control is your own self. So you just have to make sure that you are professional, you are firm, and your business stress does not go back to your home. So when you shut down your shop, and I do understand being an entrepreneur that you cannot shut down your shop, it's open 24/7, right? But you have to shut down at least your brain, not bringing those issues and emotions back at your home. That okay, somebody said this to me, that's so unfair, that's so unreasonable. Yeah, people will say unreasonable things to you. So you have to be a thick skin when you're in the game, and it's okay if people say certain things to you. You just have to learn to, as I said, not to be emotional with that. But it doesn't mean that you do not have an empathy for your client. You have to have empathy for your client, because your client is also sometimes the business. They might have the similar challenges as you. So you need to have that emotional connection with them, especially when you're in a service line. You make sure that your client connects with you, they understand, they respect you, they value your service. So the empathy should be there, your emotional intelligence should be there, but you cannot be emotional by yourself. So that's number one.
Okay.
Another item I would say, again, the common omission is the marketing side. So I have seen majority of the business, including myself, when we started the business, we were super amazing when it comes to the technical side of the business. But when it comes to marketing, we are zero. And if somebody is going to tell me that, Sumera, okay, what kind of business do you do? I will be shy away to give them my business card. You know why? And because I would always read, what is he going to do? He's anyway going to drop it in the garbage can there. Why should I give him my business card? Is he going to think I'm a sales guy who come and sell you the duct cleaning service? These are the emotions and feelings I have. And once I met somebody and I told him, I cannot go and market myself. This is my challenge. And he told me, Sumera, what do you think? What's the the bottleneck? What's the issue that you feel? And I said, what is he going to think about me? How does he going to feel about me? And this is one of the amazing things he told me that changed my life is it's not your job to think what is he going to think about you. You are going to approach 100% of your client. 97% of them are going to throw your card right on your face. It's okay. But just because 97% of the people are going to throw it doesn't mean that you're not going to approach the remaining 3% who can either become your potential client, who can become your potential referral. Even if they're not becoming your client, they might refer you some other clients. They might like your service. They might become your mentor. They might become your partner. So just because you have an opportunity to approach those 3%, you should not be bothered about the remaining 97%. And that changed my life. Now, if I'm going and meeting somebody, even in school, when I'm dropping my kids, I will go come say hello. Oh, this is what we do. What are you doing? And I'll say hello. I'll drop my business card. I'll speak about it. And trust me, there are times I find the clients from where I have least expected. Like one of the mothers of where my kid go to school, one of the mothers, I met them. I told them, oh, we met in one of the gatherings we have in the school. I told her, okay, we are accountant by profession. What do you do? This, that. I exchanged my card. 3 weeks later, she came back and say, my brother is looking for an accountant. They need an audit service, like, immediately. Are you available? Yeah, we are. This guy ended up becoming my client. This guy took my service. It went so well. She sent me a thank you message. And at the same time, she told me, my husband is also in the business and my father in law is also in the business. Are you going to be happy to take them as a client? Now,
Wow.
see, 3 clients boarded without zero effort just because I just said her hello. And so I just see that the majority, this is one of the problems with majority of the entrepreneurs, that we shy away to market ourselves. We think too much that what is other person is going to think. This is not our job to think what they are going to think. If we are passionate about what we do, and if we believe the value we are going to deliver to our clients, and we believe that the value that we are giving is on a right price, our job is to just give that thing over in the market. And it's up to them. If they pick it up, if they do not pick it up, it's their choice. It's not our job to think about that. So that is again one of the things I would say. And the other thing I would just say is, one of the omissions I see around with people is they don't work in team. They want to work by themselves. They think it's some business secret. I'm gonna hold that in. I'm not gonna share it with anybody. What if somebody become my competitor? I believe that everybody of us who has come in this world have come with the right share of fate, which we have, right? We will get what is supposed to be, we will be getting. So we should not shy away sharing our knowledge, sharing our experience with somebody who is in the market. So if, for example, if they're an accountant who comes in the market today, or feel free, any of the audience who wants to open up an accounting firm and wants to have a one-on-one just chat with me, not with no cost. If they come and tell me, Sumera, I'm incorporating an accounting firm and what advice you're going to give it to me, I'll give it to that advice to them for free. I'll clearly tell them these are the mistakes I have done. Do not do it. This is the path I have followed. If you choose to do so, feel free to do so, and do it. Because just because somebody is going to be outshine in their business does not mean that I'm going to undershine. I have my own ways of doing things, and they are going to have their own ways of doing things. So do not shy away to share your pie with somebody. Let them grow, you grow. And like, you cannot be the jack of all trade. And with the business growing, what we have identified is that we found so many partners in the process that, for example, I look after the assurance service, and I have, like, some people who work as an accountant, and they always send their clients to me because they are not doing the assurance side of the business. Or there are certain people who do not do the valuation side of the business, they send their client to us. So just because you are in a competing business does not mean that you should shy away sharing the knowledge. Let everybody share the pie, let everybody enjoy it, and let everybody grow together. So that's my side.
That's a very great mindset. And I know you had mentioned that you mentor a lot of people that want to start their own accounting
Yeah,
firm, and
yeah.
yeah, that's really great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to go on to ask you more about finding accounting firm, right?
Mhm.
Like, there are a couple of questions that I have here. Um, what should an entrepreneur look out for when looking to hire an accounting firm?
Okay. Uh, See, I know majority of the times what happen, our criteria of hiring a firm is majorly based on cost, especially when we are at the beginning of the business. And that's perfectly okay because we are struggling with our own finances and we want to make sure that we cut down the costs as much as possible. But that being said, we have to make sure that we are hiring the right kind of people for the right kind of requirements. So, for instance, as I said, when you're going to put together your business plan on the paper, you will exactly know what are you jumping into. There is a possibility that, for example, at the beginning of your business, you go and take an expensive service just so that make sure your house is in order, and then you go for a lower service and like because you just need a tax filing service, or you just need the bookkeeping service, and you do not need an extraordinary firm to do it for you, right? There are sometimes what happen is that sometimes people end up hiring a big expensive firm because they think this is the right thing to do, and they are not able to get the personalized service because they are too teeny tiny for that big firm as a client. So just make sure that whichever firm you are hiring, number one, have a one-on-one conversation with them. And when I say one-on-one, it has to be physical. It cannot be virtual. It has to be physical. And when I say physical, because when you go and meet people, you see the vibes. You see how helpful they are when they are meeting you, how much knowledge they are able to share it with you, what are their pricing model, are they going to be approachable when you need them? Because sometimes they, and when I say approachable, doesn't mean that you're going to call them at 12 in the midnight and in the evening, and they're going to pick up the call. There should have to be a reasonable turnaround time for answering your call, for answering your emails. Is the partner approachable? Who is going to be assigned to you if you become the client? Like, are they going to be appointing somebody who's going to be an admin staff and you have a struggle to reach to the partner when needed? Or they're going to assign a partner for you? These are the aspects you need to consider, again, based on the requirements you have. Are you going to be just, you think that I'm going to cut corners and I'm just going to do the bookkeeping in house? I will just go outside and get the next filing done. Then maybe your requirements are different, and you understand that these are the consequences of are going to be cutting down the cost. And then, once you start growing, you see now your requirements are changing. So maybe you were dealing with somebody on a lower level just because you were looking only for the tax filing, you were only looking for the bookkeeping services, but now you're growing. Now your business is growing. Now you want to go more towards the tax planning side of the business now because you are seeing the money. You want to go and looking for the funding. That's the time you have to again think about that. Is it the time for me to change my accountant? And very, very important thing is the value. Does your accounting firm value you as a client? Value does not comes aside with how much money you are paying it to them. It comes aside as are they giving you the right advice when you need them? Are they able to meet the deadlines when it comes to? Are they telling you that see, Linda, this is something you are doing it wrong? Are they intimating you for these kind of things? It means that when you are growing, are they taking interest in your business, or for them it's like okay, come and go, it's a tax filing service, okay, you come put in the numbers and I don't care if you're making money or not making money. But if somebody picks up the calls and speak to you, say, Linda, I've seen your this year numbers, it doesn't look right, is it okay, what's happening in the business, what was the issue, what are the reasons, if people are discussing this with you, it means they have interest in your business, they want to see you growing, they're happy to offer you the advice. So this is I would say are the benchmark for you, and eventually, like, once the years will pass by, you will realize that maybe those accountants were good for you for that particular time, and maybe it's time for you to grow and look for somebody else, and the ladder goes on. But as I've seen in Canada, people do not change their accountants and the doctors at all. So, and this is very common. Like, we also have a client loyalty is like 95, 98% for us. So whoever is our client on day one is our client until 8 years, until there's a change in circumstance or something happens like out of ordinary. But normally speaking, the client stays with the same accountant and the same doctors throughout their life.
Uh, yeah, people hardly change their accountants.
Yeah,
Which is why at the beginning, when somebody is looking for, it's also important to um, understand how to find the right people, just like you
yeah,
explained, because there's a chance it will be hard to change midway, right? And there are reasons for this, because sometimes when you have connected, QuickBooks and everything, and you have put the person in there as your accountant, like, it's difficult to unconnect all those things, at least mentally, and then start
absolutely.
connecting them. Yeah. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, then something that you said that that really got me is when you said have an in-person meeting.
Yeah.
and just feel the vibe, because I I feel sometimes that may not be something somebody will be thinking about, but myself as an entrepreneur, I notice that, like, if the relationship you have with your accountant goes a long way, right? Because sometimes
Yeah.
you just want to call someone to ask a question. If you feel mentally far away from that person, it's just psychological. Like, if they're not approachable in your mind, then those are the things that will make you just feel like, let me just do something without really consulting them, right? Because it's easy for you to consult somebody you feel like, yeah, if I call them, they will take my call. So
Yeah, yeah.
um
And I'll tell you, see, the situation is that when you are dealing with an individual, you feel that connection, right? You feel that comfort level. Like your accountants know more than your spouse sometimes. They know what your tax situation is, they know your financial situation, they have your SIN numbers and whatnot, right? So you have to have that trust relationship with them, and at the same time you will feel that connection that okay, this accountant care for me, like we have that human to human connection with him or her, and we feel that that person is honest, we feel that person is trustworthy, we can share our personal information with that person. That is very important. And even on the business side of mine also, if somebody is opening up an accounting firm, and because most of our systems are automated, right, I can literally file your taxes right when you're sitting in China, and I can do it here. You can do an e-transfer of the money, and you don't even physically meet me ever, or we don't even need to communicate even over the email or text. But what happens when, and therefore this kind of service, even the audit these days, it's so automated that I do not even need your books, and I don't need your boxes. You can send everything online. I can do audit. Everything is done and dusted. You don't need to be physically meeting each other. But when you meet physical people, I have seen lots and lots of my clients, and I have made a habit that once every year I try to meet my client once every year. So normally when it's our busy season is over, like post June or July, I'll set up the meetings with them at their convenience, and either I will go to their office, they'll come to my office, and once we meet each other, there are certain things, like we have a certain perception about somebody. You don't know who's sitting at behind the computer, is who's sending you emails, what kind of personality they have. But once you meet them, and I have certain types of clients like who would say, okay, we are not going to continue working. This is the challenges we have. And once you go and meet them face to face, and they're so happy. They're so happy to meet you. And you are so happy also to meet them. And you see, okay, this is the real business they are doing. You see, this is a passionate person. You can see, even me as an accountant can see the potential in the entrepreneur that he's going to grow. I know he's going to grow. He has his challenges. Maybe on a one-on-one basis, I'll be able to offer you something which I'm not going to be able to offer you while I'm behind the screen. So I say always, like especially in service industry, it's very very critical that you meet people at least once for a while, just to have that connection, the human connection.
yeah, very important, especially for accounting services are like services that if you start using now and you use them for like you keep using for years, so it's not like a one-off. For
Yeah,
most people, it's not a one-off transaction, right? So
absolutely. Absolutely.
advise you and get that done. What is there? Is there a rule like that for accountants?
Absolutely, absolutely. So we are also, like, our profession is regulated by CPA. So basically, if we are based in Ontario, it's CPA Ontario. If you're based in another area. Like if you're in Alberta, there'll be CPA Alberta who's regulating this profession. And therefore, it's very critical for anybody who is hiring an accountant. Is it a CPA firm? It means it's registered and licensed under CPA, or it's a non CPA firm. So you and I, without any designation, like you also can decide and open up an accounting firm today. You don't. There's no regulation that stops you from doing so. But if you are a designated CPA firm, it means you are regulated by CPA authorities. So normally, like CPA advises that whenever you are engaging yourself in certain types of client, you have to sign an engagement letter. So you will receive a 12-pager, a 14-pager document, and sometimes my clients are going to get upset. Oh, it's so long. It's like a legal document, and yes, it's a legal document that covers everything, starting from like we the indemnity that we cover, the professional liability that we cover. It's like confidentiality that we are bound to, like how your information is going to be stored, like how the communication is going to be. If you are going to authorize us that, okay, if I have to discuss this certain aspect only with you, even if your husband called, your brother called, your kids called, you're not going to respond back to them because it's your private information. So we are regulated, and therefore all this information, when we look into, we make sure we are bound by engagement letters. We actually keep this information secret. We keep that information confidential. And there are times, for example, I'm dealing with the corporations especially, and there are lots and lots of directors, right? And let's say there is a difference of opinion or conflict between the directors, and they normally approach the auditors. Okay, we need this information or we need that information. So we have to look into that. Are we authorized to give that information to anybody who walks in? If the answer is no, we are not authorized, we'll not share that information to them, no matter what they say. So, of course, all our communication has to follow this confidentiality. At the same time, we are bound by the ethical practices defined by CPA. So, for instance, if I am doing your accounting or bookkeeping as a partner, I cannot engage myself in the audit of your corporation. For example, it means is like if I have done the bookkeeping, it means I have kept your records. I cannot check your records because the keeper cannot be the checker at the same time. So it has to be like two different people, two different organizations who have to do that. So we also make sure that if we are doing the bookkeeping service for somebody, we cannot be their auditors. If we are being auditors for somebody, we cannot be their bookkeepers. So we abide by those ethical practices also. And this is also one of the critical points for you to see. And like, we do not encourage anybody to do unethical practices. We are okay to help you with tax planning, which is legally okay. But if you come and or somebody else, our client comes and say, we want to do this, or it's okay, do that. Certain people are doing this, or we are not even eligible for this kind of benefit, but we want to apply it. There's a little chance CR is going to catch it. We are not going to help you with that, right? And this is also one of the things you need to check with your firm you are hiring. If they are engaging in these kind of unethical practices, it might be helping you out in short run because you'll get benefit, you'll get money out of it. But in long run, if something happens, if there's a CRA audit, these firms are going to pull out the hand saying because whatever information you submit to CRA ultimately falls on your responsibility. So when I file your tax return, although I'm filing it, it's your tax return. Okay, so the information that you have given it to CRA, it's your personal liability, not mine. So you have to be very mindful if somebody tells you to do unethical practices. I would say you just have to be cautious that this is going to be not profitable for you in the long run.
Thank you very much. Uh, I got your explanation with that. Okay. So, how do you know when to fire your accounting firm? We already talked about that. Accounting services and the relationship between, say, business owners and the accounting firm is usually long term, and people rarely change. But what is it that if you see this, you should think of changing the accounting firm you're working with?
I would say the first is the deadlines. If your accountant is unable to honor the deadlines, this is one of the red flags for you that you should go and change your accountants. When I say deadlines, it's like if your T1 returns are filed on time, or T4s or T5s because they're too busy, or if they have not, if you required certain financials to submit to the bank, you are incurring penalties. And again, when I say this, it's assuming that everything done from the client part is okay. There's no delay from the client's part, or there are no unusual circumstances. That's number one. Number two, I would say is are you getting the value of the service that you are expecting? So are you the right size of client for your accountant? So normally what happens is, as I said, accounting firms, they come in the market, they take you as a client, they grow. And when they grow, maybe you become a small piece of pie for them. You might not be an important client for them, and therefore they might not give you the same time that you deserve. It's not, I will not say it's accountant's fault or the client's fault. It's just that it's now becoming a mismatch. Now when it's a mismatch, what will happen, you try calling the partner, you are unable to reach them. They're always busy, they're not responding to their emails, they're not responding on your calls, and every time they come up with an excuse, that's the time you have to be mindful that, okay, I think now this relationship is not going to work out. And I will never not say that go fire them right away. I would always say, again, go sit down with them, have a meeting, try to explain what your frustrations and concerns are, see what response they have, see if they are actually taking the corrective action. If not, then that's the time to change. Another one of the indicators that you have to see is the staff turnover.
The
Very,
what?
very critical. Staff turnover in their firm. So somebody was like, I have a couple of clients who came from one of the accounting firms. And what is their common issue? Common issue is that this guy has grown so big, he's not dealing with the client himself. Now there are different accountants underneath his umbrella who are dealing with him. Accountants change every single year. Now this guy has to explain his business. What does he do to a new accountant, a new staff member every single time? Of course, the new staff members, it takes time for them to absorb. They do not know the background. There are issues, there are errors, there are problems, there's frustration. So if it's lots and lots of turnover of the client, of the staff in your accounting firm, that's also one of the indicators for you to go and look for another accounting firm.
Okay. Thank you very much. I got like three things you've talked about here. If the accounting firm keep missing deadlines and
Yeah.
providing reasons, no matter what the reasons are, well, the deadlines are being missed. So that could be because they have lots of clients as well. So um, or then the second one you talked about is if there's a mismatch between your size and the accounting firm that you're using, right? Which sometimes can present itself as you not getting enough value or you not being treated as a valued customer for that firm, right? It's not that you are not a valued customer as you mentioned. It's just that maybe they deal with bigger people, bigger businesses, and yours is a very small business. So perhaps you can find another accounting firm that deal with people your size or the businesses that are your size. And then yeah, there was a third one.
And for the second point, it's not only the one way. So for example, the firm has grown big, and because you become a small part of the pie, it also can be the firm is the same size, you have grown big. Your requirements are now different. You are looking for some other kinds of services that your firm cannot provide. That is also one of the time for you to actually exit and look into a new accountant. And the third point was, as I said, the turnover of the staff, that if there's a
Yeah.
lot of turnover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
turnover. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, turnover. When you see that every time you are coming, you're meeting new set of
New
people
people.
and then you
Yeah.
have to start explaining yourself. Yeah. Okay. Generally, high turnover in any business is something to watch out for, right? Because it means something is not stable here. All right.
Yeah. And therefore, as a business owner, I always tell people, of course, as a business owner, I cannot go and start doing all the jobs myself. I can be technically as smart as possible, but if I go and delve myself into technical side too much, I'm going to missing on the other parts, right? So
Mhm.
I always say people, you can always find a replacement for the technical guy. You can always find a replacement for an IT guy, a HR guy, whatsoever. Never ever find a replacement of your business interface. So when it's a client interface of the business, it should always be you. So if I have a client, I will never ask my staff to go and meet the client. Never. Yeah, staff can work with them, staff can take information, staff can coordinate with them, but when it comes to a day to day talk, if they have a concern, I should be approachable. They should pick up the call, speak to me right away. They should discuss their problems with me right away. So their interaction has to be with me. They know I'm the one who's responsible. I should know what's happening in their business, because as soon as I delegate my client interface to a staff member, Trust me, if a staff leaves, my client also leaves with him, because client do not know who is Exil Alliance. Client knows Sumera Mughal here. So if Sumera deals with a client and Sumera tomorrow decides to go to another firm, the client will go with Sumera. So even as a business entrepreneur, it's very, very important. You can delegate all parts of your business to whoever you want. You can use any other services. But when it comes to dealing with your client, never ever delegate it to somebody else.
Hmm, that's great. Okay, so we are going to look at questions. So,
Sure.
for anyone watching us right now, if you have a question that you'd like me to ask her, please type in the comment box. We're going to see it, irrespective of the platform you're watching from. So, drop your questions and I'll pick from there and ask her. Okay. All right. While we're waiting for questions to drop, I know some people had just made comments, but right now we're looking for questions. While we're waiting for questions to drop, the question that I have for you is, what is the question that you wish I asked you that I've not asked you yet?
Mm. That is the what's the question? Oh, I don't know.
Or something you wish I
Okay,
had
okay,
asked you
okay.
to talk
One thing,
about?
yeah. So I'll say, if you ask me, for one, like, one of the challenges, as I mentioned during the talk, that every business has is market their service, right? How to market their service. One of the question I would have thought you would have asked me is how we target our clients. Like, how do we find our target market, our target clients? And my answer to that would be that the main source for us to find a new client is going to be referral, client testimonial. And 95% of the times, our new client comes from our own interaction or from another client. It's only 5% which comes from social media, advertisement, website here and there. But 95% of the people who come and bring the new business are the ones who has spoken to me, who has dealt with me, whom I have said hello, and the one who brought the client. So this is one of the key aspect of our business, or any service in business for that matter, is that, as I said, always do not shy away, do not hide under the blanket. Oh, I'm not going to say this. What people don't care about this. Go in the market, sell yourself, share your service, and there will always be somebody there who wants your service, and you never know. You can materialize a client out of it.
Sure. Yeah, and that's your answer is also important for even business people in general, right? Like
Right.
just being out there so that you connect with more people.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the one thing is, I would say, visibility, or what's better way to frame it now? You as a person, people knowing you, even when you have a business and that business is doing its own branding, you yourself being seen, and preferably being seen as an authority in your field, goes a long way
Yeah.
to bring more business to more clients to your business,
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
your own interaction with people is also important. Okay, what advice do you have for entrepreneurs?
I would
General
say,
advice.
number one advice, and I would say one and the best advice for anybody to be successful, be as an entrepreneur, be as a human being, is to have a balance. I keep saying this to everybody: have a balance. When I say balance, balance your life, give priority to yourself, take care of your health, take care of your family, take care of your business, take care of your finances. Have a balance. Do not engage yourself so much in the business that you end up having health issues. Do not engage yourself too much in the business that you have problems back at home, your family is torn apart. And I have seen successful business people, they are regretting after 20 years down the line that, oh, we have built up a successful empire, but my kids, they don't talk to me. My wife, I have a broken relationship with her. So I would always say, keep the balance. And balance does not mean you keep balancing it every single day. No, as a human, it's practically impossible to do so. But what you can do is, on an average basis, balance it out. Some days, yeah, your business needs your attention. Feel free to do so. Those days you don't cook meal at home. It's okay to neglect it. It's okay. But when it comes to normalization, come back, spend some time with the kids, and it's okay to take a day or two off from the work. It's okay. Like, switch off yourself and come back to work. Make the homemade meal start from scratch, no problem. Go pick up your kids from school. That's okay. So balance is the key. And again, most important thing people forget is when balancing everything, forget their health. We all are getting older, not younger anymore, right? Taking care of our health, hitting the gym, eating the right food is also very important. So make sure we take care of ourselves, our health, having our good relationship with our friends because we need them when we get older. So just do not leave it away for the last moment that, oh, I will have a successful business. You can, but you won't have successful, good friends to discuss that successful business. Then what's the point? So balance is the key for everything.
Wow, that's super important. Like, I love the way you've expanded it, right? Like, it's like balance with your work, with your family, with your relationships, be it like, relationship with spouse, but even relationship with friends. Yeah, because one thing
Yeah,
with building a business is that you're so busy, you are so, chasing all the clients, and it's so difficult to meet up with friends. It's easier to
yeah.
go for a business meeting than to just hang out with
And it's
friends.
okay, it's okay. For some days you might, there is a possibility there is a business meeting and you do not end up meeting a friend. That's okay, but it should not be a habit every single time, right? Maybe in the initial years of your business or initial months of your business, yeah, spend time in your business, but then take a break. Connect with your friends, connect with family, even connect spiritually. Go back to the community, give it back to the community. The kind of satisfaction you have, like, giving it back to the community, it's also one thing that makes you happy. So that's why I always say, even to my kids, balance is the key. Don't try to be like master of one and then you are failing in other parts of our life.
Wow. Thank you very much, Sumera. And
Thank you so
uh,
much.
yeah, it's been an insightful 1 hour.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was amazing seeing you and meeting your audience.
It's all right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And sure. Thank you everyone for watching as well. I had put a handle or the website to her business. So if you want to reach out to her for anything, that's totally fine. From being a client to advice that you need as a business person, whether you're starting or your business is growing, to when you talked about mentoring people that want to also start their own accounting firm specifically, or other consulting businesses, you clearly have lots of um a lot of advice or omissions, or you can tell somebody, oh, avoid this, or don't make these mistakes. And I know that if somebody was talking to you one on one, it's easier for you to give even a more customized answer based on that person's situation. You're really doing amazing, from serving your clients to doing community work with CRA to being on the show to educate entrepreneurs. All right, we wish you the best
Thank you.
with your
Thank you so much,
business.
Linda. It's amazing to meet you.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.